Check ultimateguard.com and find premium quality products for your favorite trading card game. Check video description or visit Ultimate Guard for more. How's it going, guys? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, we'll be looking at the deck for the standard format, and this is the Mega Ampharos deck. So, after a long time, I again decide to rebuild my Mega Ampharos deck. So, in today's video, I'm gonna play it with some tweaks. So, if you're not familiar with the Mega Ampharos card itself, it's 220 HP Lighting Pokemon with the Exavolt attack. So for the 120, you can go with 2 Lighting Energies and 2 Colorless Energies. You can also do 50 more damage and leave your opponent active Pokemon paralyzed. In case if you do that, Ampharos will do 30 damage to itself. But it's not a big deal, especially with the Rough Seas around. We can simply heal the damage from the Mega Ampharos. So the Mega Ampharos is the only and the main attacker in this deck. On the other side, Ampharos-EX is 170 HP with a Thunder Road. It's a pretty decent attack, which can help us to turn 1, maybe if we go second, to look at the top 4 cards of our deck, and if we find any Lighting Energy, we can simply attach to Ampharos and shuffle the rest of the cards back into the deck. I really like it, simply because you can leave your opponent active Pokemon paralyzed, and you can one-hit knock out those 170 HP Pokemon without any problems. I also run 1 copy of Hoopa-EX for that Scundering EX setup, so I can get my Ampharoses and Mega Ampharoses down to the bench. Also running 2 copies of Shaymin-EX with the setup, so I can draw cards till I have 6, simply setup, and also 1 copy of Oranguru with the Instruct for the mid or late game, when I actually drop too many prize cards and if my opponent tries to end me, I can still have Instruct and draw cards till I have 3 in my hand. Overall, only 11 Pokemons in deck. Of course, 8 of them are basic Pokemons, 38 trainer cards and 11 energies. Why is the reason why I'm running a 4-3 line of the Ampharos? Simply because I really want to start with the Ampharos in the active spot. From the item cards, I also decided to go with 2 copies of Escape Rope. I know it sounds a little bit crazy and overkill with 2 Escape Ropes. Simply the reason why I'm running Escape Rope is if I face Glacian, I can simply Escape Rope him and then Lysandre and go for 1-hit knockup if there is no Fighting Fury Belt attached to him. But also Escape Rope can force my opponent simply to promote his EX Pokemon, for example, from the bench like a Shaymin, so I can go for the 1-hit knockout even if I don't have Lysandre sitting in my hand. On the other side, a huge amount of the Mega Turbos in this build, 4 copies of them in total. I can simply with the Mega Turbo get the advantage attaching 1 basic energy from my disco pile to my Mega Ampharos in play. And I really like it. Why? The reason is because I'm also running Professor's Leather, so I can simply get energies in my hand with the Skyla. I can discard them with the Ultra Ball, and I can set up with my Ultra Ball for Shaymin, draw cards, and with the Mega Turbos I can simply attach energies from my disco pile to my Mega Ampharos. In theory sounds very good and very interesting, but also in the play it's pretty decent and consistent, to be honest. So with the 4 copies of Mega Turbos, I'm also running 1 copy of Professor's Leather, which can help me to search my deck for 2 basic energies and put them into my hand. Of course, it's always good to have at least 1 copy of Super Rod, simply because if you lose some of your resources and you can't recycle them back, you're not going to be in good position. So with the Super Rod, we can always recycle basic energies on a Mega Ampharos line or even a Shaymin without too many problems. Always running 4 copies of Trainers Mails, Ultra Balls, and the VA Seekers. 4 Trainers Mails for the best consistency and for the best help searching something that I need, like Mega Turbo, like M Sycamore, Santa Lady, VA Seeker, whatever I actually need. It can help a lot because it can look at the top 4 cards of deck and pick any trainer card we can find and put into hand, except for the Trainers Mail, so I really like it. 4 Ultra Balls, of course, so I can search my deck for any Pokemon. That's just it. Of course, 4 copies of VA Seeker, so I can use and play support a card from my disco pile 1 more time. Stadium Decision was, of course, Rough Seas ×2, simply because I can heal 3 damage counters from my Mega Ampharos. So once I actually strike with the Exavolt for 170, I'm gonna take 3 damage counters, so at my next turn I can simply heal them with the Rough Seas. Supporter line is a little bit different than usual. Of course, as always, I'm running one copy of Lysandre, so I can switch one of my opponent benched Pokemons with his or her active Pokemon. Two Lysandres might not be bad, especially because I'm running 2 copies of Escape Ropes, but overall, I always run one copy of Lysandre in decks like these, so I really don't need a second. Sometimes I actually find myself in a position where a second Lysandre might be good, but overall, Escape Rope can also be good a substitute for the Lysandre. It can be even better substitute for the Lysandre, and still I'm not gonna waste supported turn. But yeah, Lysandre is probably gonna be rotated in the future. So without Lysandre, I think that we're gonna get in a Stone Age with the Pokemon Catcher and Flip Coin. 3 copies of N. Each player shuffles his or her hand in his or her deck, and each player draws a card for each of his or her remaining prize cards. Simply 2 good cards not to be played. 1 Olympia. Why 1 Olympia? Because I'm running so many switch cards. Well, it's simply because I can heal 6 damage counters in single turn with Olympia. 3 with Olympia, 3 with the Rough Seas, and healing 6 damage counters from Pokemon is very big deal, especially if you're going to leave your opponent Pokemon paralyzed, and if you're going to get a Central 80 and Rough Seas next turn, so that's like 150 heal damage counters in 2 turns, which is just insane. On the other hand, I'm also running 1 Central 80, so I can heal 6 damage counters in all special conditions from one of my Pokemons in play. There's also very powerful and popular Lapras GX around, who can actually strike for 100 with his GX attack and leave my Pokemon paralyzed. So with the Rough Seas and Central 80, I can simply heal 9 damage counters and remove that paralyzed condition from my Mega Ampharos. 4 copies of Professor Sycamore discard hand drop, 7 cards, 1 copy of Skyla because I simply like it in this build. It can help me to search my deck for any item card or even trainer card and put it to my hand. It's just amazing card, definitely with the Mega Turbos. 4 copies of Ampharos Spirit Links, so I can have turn 2 Mega Ampharos or at least 2 Mega Ampharos in play, which is definitely something that we need. 2 Mega Ampharos, so we can simply switch between them, is very powerful. 1 copy of Float Stone is simply when we play Escape Rope, we can just Escape Rope to our Pokemon with the Float Stone. Then we can simply switch that Pokemon down to the Mega Ampharos and go for the 1-hit knockout or for the Evolve for 150, 170, 120, depending on the situation. 11 energies, one of them is going to be Flash Energy. Why? Because it's good to have it against against decks that actually run that fighting Pokemons in deck, like Zygarde, like that Passimian, but probably against Passimian, I'm not gonna have good time at all. Even if I run 4 Flash Energies, probably I'm not gonna have good time at all because it's a non-EX deck who's gonna strike for 120 per turn. If I miss Flash Energy, it's gonna be 1-hit knock against my Mega Ampharos, so I really don't have too much options against it. But 1 Flash Energy as attack is always welcome because in some cases it can help. 4 Double Course Energies, of course, to be able to attack as fast as we can with the Evolve, and 6 basic Lighting Energies, so we can simply attack and attach them with the Mega Turbos and from our hand. Overall, I really like the deck, it works good. Now you're gonna see it in upcoming games, so if you're looking for any of this card, you can find them on ccgcastle.com. Also with the TCG Center 5 code, you can get 5% discount on your first purchase. If you're looking to trade your roll bulk for maybe Sun and Moon booster box, make sure to check also video description, where you can find all instructions you really need to know. So let's do some game test and see this deck in action. Let me know what you think about this deck in the comments below. So let's do this, guys. See you in the game. Alright, so let's see how good or how bad this Mega Ampharos build is gonna be. So I really like the fact that you can actually use Oranguru Instruct and you can draw cards that only have 3 in your hand once per turn. So that can actually help a lot. I really like that. So we're gonna see today how good Oranguru is gonna be in Mega Ampharos deck, especially in the late game when we actually have disadvantage if our opponent tries to end us. So I'm starting with 1 copy of Ampharos. I don't have Spirit Link in my hand, but what I have in my hand is Skyla, which means that with the Skyla I can take any trainer card from my deck and put it into my hand. So I'm probably gonna go for something like an Ultra Ball. On the other side I see Professors Kukui and Brock's Grid for that Ultra Ball, and it's gonna be for a Lapras. So what other type of the deck on the other side? Alright, I'm definitely gonna have good advantage with my Mega Ampharos, that's for sure. So of course 1 energy attached to Sneasel so you can have it free retreat. And that's the end of my opponent's turn. Not the best start, I can definitely tell that. So I'm gonna use my Skyla, and of course I'm gonna try to search my deck here, maybe even for one Professor's Leather, but I still don't think that's gonna be good. I have Shaymin, I have Hoopa, so I'm still thinking about taking that Ultra Ball is way better. 1 double Chorus Energy to be attached, 1 Ultra Ball to be played. And after that Ultra Ball, well, to be honest, I don't even need that Hoopa for now. I'm definitely gonna need Hoopa, that's for sure. Let's see first what we can get with the Instruct. Hoopa may be better for later, simply because I can just grab my Mega Ampharoses instead of just Ampharoses because I already have them. Very nice, 2 copies of Spiritlings. Do I want to go with 1 more Shaymin for this turn? For this turn, I'm more than fine, so I'm just gonna pass my turn for now, and simply because I have energy in my hand sitting, I can just wait for a moment. There's a N. Alright, so he actually surprised me with that N. But never mind. Ultra Ball is a very good one right now because I can throw out my Lighting Energy from my hand into my discard pile. What I can get is VA Seeker for Skyla, and I can get myself something like a Mega Turbo. So I'm going to be able to attack with my Exavolt. And I'm definitely going to leave his Lapras paralyzed, no doubt about it. What a nice top deck that was. So Ultra Ball for Energy and Professor Sycamore, and it's going to be for 1 Shaymin-EX. After that I'm going to just Mega Evolve. Then I'm going to attach 1 energy manually from my hand, and I'm going to play my VA Seeker for Skyla, so I can also thin a little bit more of cards from my hand. So Skyla is going to be for 1 Mega Turbo. Of course, Mega Turbo is going to be for that Lighting Energy in my discard pile, and there we go. I can also... Oh, I completely forget first to use my Oranguru for that 1 Instruct, never mind. The card would be just VA Seeker. So speaking about VA Seeker, there's a Lysandre. Of course, I'm going to grab also Lysandre into my hand. Another Trainer's Mail is going to be for Float Stone. That's something that I actually really need and really want to have. 1 more Trainer's Mail can give me another Mega Turbo or Professor Sycamore. For now, I'm just gonna say it's okay. Let's go with the Exavolt. Yes, of course I want to leave my opponent active Pokemon paralyzed. So I'm taking 3 damage counters, which is not a big deal. I can simply heal them with the Rough Seas. I also have Center Lady. Not sure if my opponent actually runs the Central Lady, but for now, he's in a very, very big disadvantage. And this is going to be 1 Ultra Ball, probably for the Weevil, so he can simply grab that Float Stone. Nope, it's a Glacian. Alright, so he really wants to take advantage with the Glacian, but Glacian is a good one, but still, as long as I run a Pokemon Ranger, I don't need to worry. But I can also just paralyze him, because Glacian cannot prevent the effect of the attack. He can just prevent the damage done to him. So with that said, he just can't do too much against me. So Weevil for Float Stone and XP Share. Really like the Weevil with the Tear Away. I think this card might be very good in the future, but I thought it would be very good in the future. I apologize for that, but the problem is that the new tool removal card is going to be released. Alright, so Lysandre to my Ampharos, there we go. So I'm gonna need somehow to switch my Ampharos, but for now, I'm not sure if that's gonna be possible. Let's see what I can find with my Skyla. I do have Escape Rope, I do have Olympia. However, I don't see Pokemon Center Lady. So I might just grab myself something like... Yeah, let's go with Escape Rope. Let's just see what our opponent can actually promote for me in the active spot. I can always promote my Oranguru, for example. If he decide to put Weevil, Weevil is going to be knocked out. If he decide to put Manaphy, I can simply knock out his Manaphy, which is somehow not the smartest option, I can definitely tell that. But I'm definitely going to use my Exavolt, and I don't even need to leave him paralyzed and deal 30 damage to myself. So that Skyla was a big deal. That Escape Rope was a big deal, and there we go with the Center Lady. So right now, if he tries to use his Ice Beam GX, I can see Rage Quit from my opponent at the end of his turn after I use my Pokemon Center Lady. I can definitely tell you that. Plus, I can also heal freaking 9 damage counters from my Mega Ampharos in a single turn, which is just insanely good. So, there's a 1 copy of Tauros GX. Do I run Tauros GX in my deck? No. Why? Simply because I don't feel comfortable running it. Simply because if you run Tauros GX, you can start with him. It's not bad to start with the Tauros GX, that's for sure, but there we go. You really need to have also something like a Fighting Fury Belt for Tauros. This is just my personal opinion, because decks like Darkrai EX can just simply one-hit knockout Tauros, and I really don't like that. So that's the knockout, another Mega Turbo and 1 more Lightning Energy for me, and this is going to be Glacian for my opponent, which means that I will need just my Lysandre for the victory, knocking out either way his Tauros or his Lapras GX on the bench. I don't need to be afraid too much about his Glacian in the active spot, even after he used the Crystal Ray. So I have tons of good cards sitting in my hand. I wish I can simply just get that Pokemon Ranger so I can just prevent his Crystal Ray, but probably that's not gonna happen. Am I worried about M? Maybe a little bit, because I'm probably gonna lose my Lysandre and I might not be able to get another one, since I already waste tons of Trainers Mails. But still, I can simply Exavolt his Glacian and leave him paralyzed. 70 damage is not a big deal, especially when you can heal 3 of them with the Rough Seas per turn. So, my top deck is going to be another Double Course Energy. Do I want to play the Double Course Energy? Of course, I want to attach it. Then I want to play my Trainer's Mail. With the Trainer's Mail, I'm going to find simply nothing, just a V-Seeker. Let's grab that V-Seeker. Still, I can use Center Lady at the end of my turn. Instruct. Instruct is going to be for N, so that means I'm going to use my Center Lady. And I'm going to heal 6 damage counters from my Ampharos, but I didn't need to do that. Exavolt is going to be for Paralyzed. Just for the Paralyzed, and that's going to be it. Next turn, I can simply strike him for 170, which is going to be enough for the knockout. So if my opponent doesn't have Escape Rope or Olympia sitting in his hand, for him this game unfortunately is over. And yeah, Mega Ampharos is a real deal. So there's a V-Seeker. I didn't see if there's a... Nope, no sign of it. So he can simply use the Lysandre and tries to Lysandre my Shaymin on the bench, which is not going to be a big deal for... Oh, he decided to Lysandre my Ampharos, who already had that double chorus energy attached to him, but that was definitely a big mistake. Simply, I'm going to switch... Actually, retreat. I don't know why I always say switch. To my Mega Ampharos, and I'm going to use my Exavolt, which means I'm going to one-hit knock out my opponent Glacian-EX, and that's going to be it. So, taking 3 damage counters back, but not a big deal, especially because I'm taking my last 2 prize cards. My opponent actually didn't stand a single chance against my Mega Ampharos Exavolt. I managed to set up my Mega Ampharos pretty early in the game, and that was unfortunately too much for my opponent, so that's a GG.